World and Latin America News, 5-minute news update, El Radio Phoenix, Monday, July 27th, 2026. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Hunt and welcome to El Radio Phoenix. Here are today's biggest stories from around the world and across Latin America. Let's get started. World News. Russia-Ukraine war continues. The war between Russia and Ukraine entered another violent day as both sides launched overnight drone and missile attacks. Ukrainian officials reported multiple civilian casualties and damage to homes, power facilities, and transportation infrastructure. Russia also reported casualties following Ukrainian strikes inside Russian territory. Diplomatic efforts remain stalled with no new peace negotiations scheduled. Military analysts say both sides continue expanding drone production, making these long-range attacks increasingly common. The conflict remains one of the most significant security challenges in Europe since World War II. Europe faces historic heat extreme. Temperatures continue across southern Europe. Spain, France, Italy, Greece, and Portugal are battling record-breaking heat, with temperatures exceeding 104 degrees Fahrenheit in several areas. Wildfires have forced thousands of people to evacuate their homes. Firefighters continue working around the clock, while officials warn that dry vegetation and strong winds could allow fires to spread rapidly. Health officials are urging residents, especially seniors and young children, to stay hydrated and avoid outdoor activities during the hottest hours of the day. Middle East tensions remain high throughout the Middle East. Commercial shipping in the Red Sea continues to be disrupted following attacks on cargo vessels. Several international shipping companies are rerouting their ships around Africa, adding days to delivery times and increasing transportation costs. Energy analysts warn that if the conflict expands, consumers around the world could see higher gasoline prices and increased costs for imported goods. Global economy. Financial markets remain cautious. Investors continue watching inflation, interest rates, and geopolitical tensions. Economists say uncertainty surrounding energy prices and global trade could slow economic growth in many countries during the second half of the year. Technology stocks remain strong, driven by continued investment in artificial intelligence and cloud computing. Latin America. Argentina and Brazil. Argentine President Javier Milei traveled to Brazil to support Senator Flavio Bolsonaro's presidential campaign. Political observers say the visit strengthens ties between conservative leaders in the region as Brazil prepares for its next presidential election. The trip has generated strong reactions from both supporters and political opponents in both countries. Venezuela recovery efforts continue following last month's devastating earthquakes. Thousands of families remain displaced while emergency crews work to restore electricity, roads, schools, and hospitals. International organizations continue delivering humanitarian aid as reconstruction efforts are expected to take several years. Chile. Heavy rainfall linked to El Niño continues causing flooding and landslides in northern Chile. Emergency crews are clearing roads while several communities remain isolated. Government officials continue monitoring river levels as more rain is expected over the weekend. Cuba continues struggling with widespread power outages and fuel shortages. Rolling blackouts continue affecting businesses, schools, and transportation across much of the island. Officials continue searching for additional fuel imports while residents face ongoing economic challenges. Mexico authorities continue investigating the killing of journalist Alejandro Leiva Aguilar in Oaxaca. Press freedom organizations are calling for a thorough investigation and stronger protections for journalists, noting that Mexico remains one of the most dangerous countries in the world for members of the media. Sports. Preparations continue for major international sporting events across the globe. In the Caribbean, athletes from dozens of countries are participating in the Central American and Caribbean Games, one of the region's largest sporting competitions. Professional soccer, baseball, basketball, and Formula One also continue drawing global audiences as teams prepare for the next stage of their seasons. Dumbass of the Day. And now it's time for today's Dumbass of the Day. Today's award goes to the driver who followed their GPS so literally that they drove straight down a public boat ramp and into the water because the navigation said continue straight. Witnesses watched as the vehicle slowly floated away before emergency crews arrived to pull it out. Thankfully, no one was injured. Today's lesson, technology is smart, but it still expects the person behind the wheel to be smarter. Congratulations, today's Dumbass of the Day award is officially yours. Please don't try to collect it in person, you might drive into the lobby. I'm Mike Hunt, and this has been your World and Latin America News Update on El Radio Phoenix. Stay informed, stay safe, and remember, if your GPS tells you to drive into a lake, maybe ask for a second opinion. We'll see you next time.